gang back together. That's one of the most important things. They don't have their key defenders, but they do have their midfield together, the Fremantle Dockers. So we're set to go at the Adelaide Oval. Sandilands in ruck against Renouf. And we're underway, and Big Sandilands gets the tap down straight away. Ollie Wines knows no other way but to charge on in. And he dives on the footy for Port Adelaide, a chance perhaps to go to the top of the ladder today with a victory.
Absolutely, they'll have their eyes on that. Stephen Hill with Jared Polak, so that's going to be an exciting combination on the wing.
Now Boat, and they can swing into action. There is Polak getting it in, hammering it in quickly. It's going to be really interesting to see as Mazunga takes it, how they work their defensive structures, Fremantle. Whether they can get Michael Johnson as that loose as they like to do. Yeah, they usually do, but he's probably going to have to take a key role. I would have thought he'll have to be accountable to someone today, but they're loose here. Here they're off. Here's Johnson. Well, he's got free and he's got the half forward. They're on everywhere. Main into the pocket. There was confusion amongst the Port Adelaide defence there. Hartler didn't know whether to come up or go back, and he was stuck in between. Exactly right. There's no point being in between, Hutto. You've got to go one or the other. He should have come back with Main and made Johnson kick a goal from 50 or go right at Johnson and try and cause an upset. But he did get stuck in between. Chris Main, one of the players at Freo that hasn't had the year that he would have liked so far. He's really dropped off in his defensive pressure. He's been carrying an injury, but he needs to get back in form if Freo are going to kick a winning score today. He's kicked 5-3 for the year. He's found himself in defence in a couple of occasions this year so far. Be a mighty start for him here to try and keep the crowd quiet. It's tight.
Hit it sweet. Hit that true. Hit it sweet. Completely out of the centre of the foot. Just where he ran, Roo. Yeah, and him and Jay Schutz really are the two best goal kickers in the comp, you would have thought. So that's a big miss by Main.
Warbrent comes away with great confidence to Pittard. And it'll be interesting to see what this defensive pressure is like early, because they are such a confident team, Port Adelaide. Good mark. And they haven't really been stymied yet so far this season. Of course, they've had just the one loss against North Melbourne, and their form here has been dynamic. Hill returned to the team this week, so his hamstring okay. Hits up the lead at centre half forward, and it's Mundy who turns instantly. Goal. He's within range. He knows where to go, but he just can't find it.
Just Moons at ground level, when we were walking over that ground, it just seems slightly downhill to the left of screen. It just feels like it's to the right hand side of screen. I don't think they're going to carry us far to the left hand side of screen.
No, and look, you're seeing obviously there's no stand down that end, so you think there is going to be wind that's going to be coming through that end.
Gee, it's been a bit uncertain out of defence so far for Port. Good signs for the pressure being applied by Fremantle. They're just hammering it away. Hard work there was done by Wingard to Wines to Monfries. That's better. More system. They've got an outlet, and they're running to West off to Ebert. And Ebert can take it. He's got Robbie Gray at half forward. He's got White as well. He's got Schultz deep, being manned up by Silvani. Goes to White. He'll back himself here off the left, and Wines unopposed inside the 50. Good footy there by Port Adelaide. Westhoff pushing back towards half-back, so that's a good move by him. Ebert's the hardest running midfielder in the comp at this stage, I reckon, through the middle of the ground. You saw him on Monday there. He got 10 metres in front of him on the wing. Great pick-up by Matty White, and a very clever kick to find Ollie Wines. He's kicked 6 goals, 5 for the year. Respectable, just under a goal a game. We know what a powerful young midfielder he is. Unfortunately misses to the left, so both sides leaving a few behind at this early stage.
Guys, you just see this at the start of the game. You saw the Port players actually targeted Johnson right at the start of the game, and when he put that ball inside 50, Johnson, he went over to Monfries, and Monfries had just let him know about it. Just another interesting one. Kane Corns has just come onto the ground too, so interesting to see who he's going with today.
Yep, we'll get an idea very, very soon. Crosier's kick that's smothered over the boundary line.
That score, that penetration inside 50, is exactly the style of game when Moons was interviewing Rossi Lyon before the game. They fold back with numbers and they counter punch on the outward flow. Well, Kane Corns is on no one at this stage. That is very rare.
And Hill, he scored it over the line out of bounds.
And Ryan Crowley's on the bench as well, which is pretty rare at this side. So
Boak's just come off, Ruth, so he's just going with him.
Okay.
So a bit of ringer-rosy going on. Fife and Ebert look like they're partners today. Look at Wines again. Brilliant stuff through the maze. He got his way out. Corns, he probably mind having that one again. Play on the call though. Shields back to Hartlett, just about within range. Angling a kick, spearing in. Monfrey's a little opening. He went once, he'll have to go again, and he got there. That is a great effort, a great second effort. Although we might have a closer look on the screen.
I think it was a goal, boys, wasn't it? That right leg it came off.
Score review. Umpire's call is a goal. We'd like to check to make sure it didn't come off the defender's leg.
I think Johnson's pretty keen on this one, boys.
Oh, yeah. Good call, Moons.
Yeah, in the old days, Monfrey's would have had a goal.
So how good was Monfrey's then? Very good claim, wasn't it?
Mick Malthouse called that a treat 3 or 4 years ago. Remember that
He did,
time?
yes.
Yeah.
We've all done that, haven't we?
No, Mark, we haven't. No.
So, yeah, Johnson has a little bit of spillage on the way up, but he's recovered in time.
Something for you to watch in a second, Moons. Good hands. Hey, Moons, it just saw when Westhoff pushes up the ground as we see normally, Johnson's his opponent, who is so dangerous. That'll go out. Who is so dangerous. I've just noticed after Johnson got that first entrance inside 50, do you think he's at ground level? Is Westhoff trying to keep him way deep in defence now, and so therefore he'll stay at home?
Well, it's either he's trying to push him really deep, because I don't think he's going to go with him, Johnson. I think they want Johnson to be that spare man if possible. So if Westhoff is going to go up the ground, they're going to find Johnson by himself inside 50 a lot. So it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Now, the umpire's deemed there that he hasn't done enough. He only had one arm to do something with.
Yeah, it's tough.
He was tackled as he picked up the ball, Crowley. So Hartlett is the man. Now we know.
Got a big kick.
Yeah, in his prime, his pomp, he could just about land this. I think he's going to centre it. He sort of landed it. Well, it's
That should be 50 as well.
I won't like that at all.
No, he won't. I don't know what Sandlands was doing there. He was in the wrong spot, though. He got caught in front of the ball. And to take a mark on the chest, a metre out from goal.
What happened, Roo, was Renoff was sitting out here to the side and looked like he might have got an inside 50. So Sandlands was a little bit torn whether to go back or stay with Renoff.
Gee, that's where you just got to delegate, don't you? Need your mids pushing back or someone else to come back, cover.
So we're finally set for Jay Shields in game 150. He knows what to do. Puts it through for the first of the day. And there's a pit in this.
Well, they're both angry sides, aren't they? Port Adelaide and Freo, they don't muck around, they don't take anything from the opposition, and there's a bit riding on. This is a huge game for both sides. Here's Silvani. Just gets lost here. Schultz.
Yeah.
Too clever.
Well, he made contact and he only has 1 foot planted. And Schultz is able to push him because he's only got 1 foot on the ground, and he's unfortunately just took a step when he looked for contact.
And that's a goal that probably wouldn't have happened if McPharlin was playing. I wouldn't have thought. Or Dawson, they would have been clever enough to be able to go one-on-one with Schultz in that instance.
Hard but fair.
Lachie Neale, fresh from his career best performance, 32 disposals, won the Roskilde Denning medal last week in the Derby. Crozier, now Subin on the wrong side. Just jammed it in for Pavlich. He's restricted straight away. Cassisi gave it straight up to De Boer. Fairly elementary. There's one back and handed on a platter.
They probably deserved that, Derm, didn't they? They missed 2 relatively easy shots on goal. But Dom Cassisi, who's been in really, really good form playing as a defender. Here, we'll just have a look. Good pick up by the Pav. And here's Dom. Just missed it. Just missed it by only a metre.
Yeah.
Not even a metre, half a metre.
Real heavy traffic for him to try and get the accurate hand. Look at the bodies colliding around there. That's really quite heavy traffic to go back into the centre with.
So scores level. Just a goal each as both sides feeling each other out. There's been a few errors. There's plenty of pressure. There's a bit of angst between the two teams. Wines out of the middle, as solid as ever. Cassisi to Corns. From his position on the wing, driving very wide. Pollack can't get there, Sutcliffe. Now Pollack's got a sniff. Bounces back though to Sutcliffe, and he can escape with help from Fife. He had a career best 25 disposals last week. Didn't do any favours for his man Main.
You could just see Chris Main's ribs coming up under a bit of heat there if Broadbent wanted to. Good tap.
Winds the third up.
Mzungo's back behind this kick down the line.
And hence he went short to Schultz.
Rui, you've been watching Corns. It looks like he's going with Hill, but they're spreading apart from these stoppages. So it's a very interesting way they're going about it at the moment.
It's not a tag at all. If Kane was tagging him, he'd be right in his back pocket.
So throw in. Trengove doing the ruck work there against Zach Clark. Fife made a real strong run at it. Pearce out to Hill. Darting kick to half forward, out wide.
Well, one thing I think we can go with certainty in the midfield now is that Crowley's going with Boak.
Yep.
He came to the bench before while Boakey was still out there, but he's definitely going with him now.
And from Port Adelaide's point of view, I think the Corns Hill one, I'd much prefer to have Hill on my own than Kane Corns on his own. With Kane's disposal efficiency compared to Hill's running power, I think Kane needs to tighten up a little bit.
And Hill's gone off the ground just for the moment. Corns staying out there, so we'll keep watching that one and see what happens. Silvani wide for Johnson, West off.
Gave him a look at it.
And as a result, he was able to double back and be free. Spur, as they work that outer side of the ground. Mzungu goes all the way through to Duffield, finds himself up on the half-forward line. Stand start from Subin to Spur, so they've all kept on coming, the defenders. And he's able to link up with Mzungu, who's only half ready for it. Rush the kick, a fraction, and it's a behind. So they've kept the crowd reasonably quiet so far for Fremantle.
Yeah, they have. They've had plenty of the ball. They've had 40 disposals to 28, and they've had 4 shots on goal. So they've settled in well, Dockers, but they're 1-3, and that can hurt when you don't make them pay on the scoreboard.
Broadbent's had some troubles kicking in, and again, he's wayward this time.
Well, this is uncharacteristic of Port. They're going at 44% by foot at the moment, and generally they're one of the best kicking sides in the competition. So Freo's pressure that Ross Lyon spoke about pre-game is really coming into play early in this first quarter.
Subin gives it plenty. Pavlic's a real one out with Carlisle. Cassisi, Valentine circling. Pearce, the voice behind from Neil. And the ball over and out.
See, now this is where Sandilands is so very dangerous against an undersized ruckman like Trengove. Now he's going to put it wherever he wants if the throw is accurate.
Feigned an effort there, didn't he, Trengove, knowing he was going to lose it. Down it goes. Fife comes out to Hartlett. He goes straight back into trouble.
He ran into a wall.
Yeah, bodies everywhere. Neil. A scrap and scrounge. Homp's got it away to Cassisi, guided it to Schultz. Now he's
got numbers back for
He's still running hard out of there, though.
Position where he decided to kick into the middle, where he had the numbers all down the line.
Silvani was slow to pick that up. He should have seen that target coming out, and it was the obvious target. He had to come up to him.
Wasn't much initially there for Westhoff, but.
And that let off that's let the pressure off now, because they're in the wide part of the ground. They can spread the ball and they get a little bit of latitude as to their targets.
Free kick, Westhoff will bundle it out to Boak. Forced onto the back foot, Cassisi. So not the system they'd like to have employed there, but no damage yet. Ebert now, he decides he's going to crank it up a bit. Give his forwards a run at it. Schultz has got to come over 3 and a mountain.
They're pretty well set at the moment, Freo, in their defensive part of their game, and if they're going to kick long to Sandlands like that, he's going to mark them all day.
You'd think they'd revise that strategy pretty quickly, wouldn't you? There's an opening for Boak, which he takes. Duffield, well done, disposal. Opened it up for Mitchell. So Kane Mitchell into the team for his first game of the year, been in really good form in the SANFL. 31 disposals last week, Rory.
Yeah, he has. He's been in great form. Really knocked the door down, and there's only Jonas out of this side and Lobie. Other than that, they're absolute full strength, so it's very hard to get a game this year.
Made an impact last year in 13 games, often as the Super Sub. Starts today and shows what sort of stellar form he's in. What a goal!
Well, they're gold, aren't they? Goals like that. And well done to Kane Mitchell. It's a good story getting a gig coming over from Western Australia up against one of his old, probably a side that he grew up following or certainly watched him closely anyway, being from over there. And he's a good hard runner. Played a lot of footy last year as a sub, but they've made him earn it this year with a better side, and he's playing good footy. So well done to Kane Mitchell. Bad kick though by Duffield. That caused the whole thing.
A real win for Travis Boak as well to get that intercept. Being tagged by Crowley, he's had 4 disposals, and Kane Mitchell kicks a terrific goal. And Port have the lead by 5 points. Really tight struggle. The opening half of this opening term at the Adelaide Oval. Saturday afternoon footy around the country. Hope you're enjoying it. This is Neil on the way out. Good support, good resources from behind. Mzungu decides to drive it for Pavlich. Lower kick than perhaps that they were expecting. Off hands, that was smart work. Now Mundy takes it after Main, and Neil is getting plenty of the footy again. Back to Mundy. And help on the outer side for Spur.
They lined up on the inside on the spine if he had widened his vision.
He's got a big challenge today playing on Valentine. That's a great kick out by Pittard.
Mzungu, he is the loose man in defence. They love Johnson, but they need his size against his obvious opponent in Westhoff. So Mzungu is the loose there, and Pittard at the other end, at this end of the ground.
The instant turn on the left, the height of Clark.
That was a hold there.
Kicked 3 goals last week.
That was unlucky.
Now Valentine really rushed the kick, perhaps a little more than he needed to. Pittard has time to round it up. From the back pocket, he spies Hartlett. Didn't cling on. Duffield. Still reading the tackle. It's okay. It's a good tackle in the end. It's 50-50 ball.
Let's have a look at Valentine. That was a possible push in the back there. And here's the Clark one. Was he holding on? And did he get him over the shoulder? Very, very close.
Sandilands for 5. Great work from Robbie Gray, who's in brilliant form. Neil again, though, gets it back to Fremantle's hands. Mzungu, been prominent. Goes back. Just stays in. Carlisle. And Subin, who's the sub last week, has started really prominently so far today.
Gets feisty, Subin, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. I like it.
I was going to say, that wouldn't upset you too much, would
Yeah,
it?
that's all right. It's good.
Tackle count's interesting, 13-4. Freo have had a lot more of the ball, 61-46, so you've got to take that into account. Used it all that well, though,
Little
Freo.
foot thrown out there.
Some reflexes, perhaps.
Chap Wingard.
Gray back to the wing. He's upended there, shoots. Advantage. It's not really going to be to their advantage. There's nothing ahead.
That was a bad call. How did that happen, Hutto?
Wow, got away with that. Johnson could have picked it up. He let it go.
How was it advantage?
Well, the player took it. I mean, the onus is on the player not to take it in that situation.
Is that tunnelling they call it these days?
Yeah, he's given himself enough of an out by putting the fist up.
Hodge tracks it back. Good support, good run from Carlisle. Again, a little just haphazard in their movement into the
That's why Alipati doesn't like kicking the footy. I mean, it seemed to be a long penetrating kick, but some backmen, you just don't want them to have it. Do their job, spoil the man, stop them getting the kicks. If you need to, feed it off to somebody who can think their way through the program, can use the ball to best advantage.
So the ball for Johnson. To half back. Neil versus Mitchell. Mitchell gathers cleanly. Swift kick. Gains some territory. Wines all right with 2 Dockers right in his face. Got it back to Mitchell. Wandering ball
Once again, just bombed away. Had 2 blokes on the inside. Just needed to lower the eyes there. They're just rushing a bit Port Adelaide under the Fremantle pressure.
It's certainly something that, I mean, it's easy for us to see from up here, where I'm sure the message will be strong at quarter time, won't it?
Well, that's it, and that's why Freo have been such a good side. That's why they've been the best in the comp, because they put so much pressure on the ball carrier that they cause turnovers.
Crowd really appreciating the efforts of Holmst initially, and then Trengove. They earned that free. High ball up into the 50. Can Schultz get a fair run out of it? You've got plenty of attention from Silvani. Good fist, and there's Clark. And the clean-up operation nearly complete.
Well, they're going to have to keep it down there.
Fumble from Hill. Close to the line. Subin.
He's pulled that in. That's dangerous. No, it's squeezed out over the line. That's the result they want, because there was only one ahead. Yeah, I said Chad Wingard throws a foot here. Oh, he's lucky he didn't make any contact.
It was a snap kick there.
Yeah, it was. Jackie Chan.
I think he was trying to kick the ball, not trip.
Doesn't matter what it was. If he makes any contact, he's in a world of bother.
Just trying to look after him.
Yes.
Back of the contest.
Nothing to worry about.
Silvani can get it over to De Boer. He's only going to be confronted here by Broadbent. Charging forward across the 50 is Pearce. He's coming at it. Impey with him.
Good pace.
And now Pearce will roll back as a former Port player. They know him well.
He's got Sandy Long.
He goes longer than that for Hill.
Great grab.
Not much this bloke can't do.
He's a freak. He is
50.
a brilliant footballer, Ollie Wines. You'd love to have him in your side. Second year, he's a boy. Have a look at the size of him.
I was just about to say that. When we were down on ground level, I couldn't quite see him from side on. I couldn't see the number, and I thought, who's this sort of sub-key position player? It was Ollie Wines. He's a midfielder.
Boak just constructed it pretty well for Mitchell. Does he give? No, he doesn't. Decides to go back.
Well, he kicked one from the other side of the ground from the same spot. You reckon he could kick another? This is a little bit harder for a right footer.
He wants a match, you reckon?
Just watching Travis Boak, he's come off 3 times this quarter, and that's why when he comes on, you see him do those 100, 150-metre sprints because he just gets beautiful, perfect rest.
So Kane Mitchell doesn't think he can do it, so just sets it up for Wingard. He gracefully flew over the pack. That ruined it.
Free for Silvani. I think Joe Schultz grabbed him by the leg.
A very nervous start for Silvani. His last spoil against Schultz with the big high ball that came in about 90 seconds ago was fantastic. First, he made 3 errors in the opening part of this quarter, but he's just settled now over the last couple of minutes.
Great mark by Chris May. Just used his body perfectly. Any more, and the umpire would have maybe played a free kick.
Possibly even would have last year.
Yeah, I think it's a good rule change. I think you should be able to use your strength in a marking contest.
De Boer, just behind the wing. Half forward, 5 points still the margin. It's 2 goals to 1. There's Big Jackson Trengo.
Bit of bombing going on at both ends, Derm.
That's it's a bold kick, isn't it, into the middle. Finds Monfries, does open things up on this side.
Good protection for him by his teammates in the marking contest, though.
Out wide for Westhoff.
I noticed that Port Adelaide really... great.
Courage, hard run from behind. Spent but kept on charging. Got it to Boak. They're streaming into attack. Schultz, 50-50, be a good result if they can get the ball to ground. Well, they do now, but Neil scampered in. Delayed handball. Good hit. He really set up Wingard. I think Wines probably...
That might hurt.
Whisper an apology there.
I was just about to say, Port Adelaide practice. That's a brutal tackle.
It's a ball.
They practice protecting the man in the contest before the game.
Good effort there from Trengove. Anything to get it forward.
You know, like in their kick-to-kicks, the third man up will just jump across his back, pretend to go for the footy, and actually practice shepherding their teammates back, protecting getting the ball.
Yep.
So Sutcliffe playing a really tight role on Pollock. There he is, Pollock. So just the 2 disposals so far. Fresh from 33 goals last week.
Oh, clever.
Big career best. Here's Barlow. Another kick out on the full. Guess who's got the kick, Doom? Carlisle, but he kicks it back in.
There you go. As Clint Eastwood said, the man's got to know his limitations.
All the way back to Broadbent, setting things up from defence.
Good hit.
Now, Kane calls, this is beyond him, but can he hit a target?
Don't worry, hit the big ones.
Sets it up. Very deep. Westhoff. Not paid.
Did he hold it for long enough? I know he dropped it
He thinks he did.
I reckon he was clunked it for a while. Let's have a look at that in a sec. Here he goes, the big fella. Comes from 3 deep. Clunk. Surely. Anyway, play on.
Whomsh. Goes up and takes the grab. He is playing inspired footy for Port Adelaide at the moment.
He's been a good pickup. They got him from GWS just to bolster up the defence, and he's done exactly that.
Look at Pollock's going to fly this time.
He's
no way out of there for Robbie Gray. And now Crozier. Set himself up in some way. Crunched by Mitchell.
Tough game so far.
Yes, Westhoff has a crack. Can we find some space somewhere for someone? Not yet. Barlow. Watch out. Schultz was ready.
Played that well. That's 2 times
good footy.
Barlow right on in the real dangerous position.
Here's the West. Did he have it long enough before he dropped it?
Yeah, I reckon he secured it.
Margin is 6. Clark gets it down. Barlow, Trengove. Crowley's in there as well. And inevitably, it's another bounce. So, Builders contest between attack and defence. This so far, defence has been the nature of it, but could break open at any stage. Polak. They're pressing hard. Wingard. And the numbers work well on the defensive arc. Oh, Mzungu had a moment. There's a good tackle.
He dropped it.
He's put it down. Oh, they've played it on. White, they've got to score a goal from here. And they can't. Silvani and De Boer.
Given one up there.
Nearly the coach needs to make a rule nearly at some footy clubs, don't they, about the free kicks and playing on advantage. You certainly don't want to be greedy, and Westhoff's done a great tackle there, and Robbie Gray's played on like he wasn't trying to kick a goal himself, but in hindsight it would have been better for the Hoff to have a kick.
Oh, a couple of swings of boots through there.
Yeah, he poked it through the second time.
That was a bit high too, wasn't it?
McPharlin not in a great position to see it.
I reckon Spurs cop one on the scone there. A bit fiery, there's Subin again, he loves it.
Now the wrestle's on. Trengove has another crack. Mundy. Just numbers swelling around the contest. Fierce tackling. Silvani squeezed to kick out. That's some danger about it, but if it comes off, they can break. Main.
Missed him.
He missed it. Lucky he had good backup. Crozier. Again. Oh, that's a high kick. Carlisle love that.
Oh, well done.
Takes the mark. Shares it with Westhoff. Quick kick into the 50. I think it was designed for Robbie Gray. Got there eventually. Gray clever to Mitchell, though he had to jump and wait for it. An anxious moment or two. High kick back from Schiltz, so there's no tall timber down there to take him.
Oh, great
Silvani.
effort.
Reckless.
His mate's going to be sore.
Yeah.
Well, he is sore. Who is it, Subin?
That's Subin, guys. He's holding his jaw, as you can see. He could hit some serious trouble here.
Oh, knee onto the jaw.
Knee onto the
you
jaw.
spotted it, Moons. Oh, you poor...
Courage.
If that's the sharp end of the knee, we're going to have a bit of a game stop here.
He's had some bad luck in his career, Subin. He's been a classy player for a while, but geez, had some injuries too.
Good to see him.
Yeah, that's great news that he's up that quickly.
You wouldn't run off like that with a broken jaw, would you?
No.
Not that speed.
I reckon he's a bit sore, though.
Fife into the middle to Hill. Space all out on this side, except for Duffield. He can charge. Does he go to the 50 and have a shot? He was uncertain. Arts the back just at the line. He's gone too far.
You're at about 40.
Just forgot where he was for a minute.
Looking at Nick Subin on the boundary there.
He might be all right. Sort of.
There'll be a little bit of shock going through him at the moment as well, I'd say.
Boats up to 7 disposals, Corns to 8. And now Evers, things start to open up through the middle. Avenues to the left mainly for Port Adelaide, so it'll just allow Fremantle to
Schultz is leading.
sweep some numbers back. Mainly one-on-one ahead, as you can see. Mitchell back to Pilar. Does he go? Need to break it open with a long shot. Just misses.
Just give a bit of the footy, young Mitchell. 6 possessions now, half-forward flank.
Mundy just couldn't be restrained by Montfries. And they're on their way out again. The ball's just coming off the bench. He's just come off the bench. Perfect timing. Crunching tackle from Trengove. Good back up from White. Feeding it back to Broadbent. Hartlett screaming for it in the middle. It arrives. He's got Mitchell out to the left as well as Pittard again. Working that flank time and time again, Port Adelaide. Pittard off the left. High ball in for Schiltz. And Silvani did enough. And he knew where the boundary was. And he took it over there. There was no doubt that's what he was trying to do. Just did enough, despite the look on the face of Jay Schiltz.
That's the furthest they've been forward of the centre in the last 8 minutes, Fremantle. The ball's lived in their back line. So they've done remarkably well to absorb this pressure.
They've survived, haven't they, so far? Sutcliffe back to the wing. And we're down to 14 seconds, so barring a disaster. Well, they've got through just conceding the 2 goals in this opening term, Fremantle.
They'll be happy. Here's the time in forward half. So Port Adelaide have had it 64% of the time, Derm. So I might even thought it'd been more than that. It certainly seems like Port Adelaide have had a lot of the ball. Even though that's basically 2/3, 1/3.
Clock reduced now to just 5 seconds. So an opening term which has been full of interest, certainly very, very tight. 16 inside 50s to 8 in favour of Port Adelaide. It's produced 6 scoring shots to 4. So It's been hard yards for the forwards.
It's been a really tough game so far. This is going to be a beauty, this one.
Well, quarter time comes and Port Adelaide 2-4-16 lead Fremantle 1-3-9. Adelaide Oval Saturday afternoon footy.